again. It's a redskin.
Well, hello, Mim.
Hiya, friend. How's it going?
It's going well. It's going well. How are you?
I'm all right. Yeah, it's all good. It's warmer now. Kind of like a different vibe this time because we're recording in the morning, which we never do.
I know.
Normally, like, I might have a drink, but this time I've got coffee and I've got my Brita jug in the corner with me. It's not the same vibe. So hopefully we're not like lethargic on this recording.
Yeah, hopefully we sound sprightly, fueled by coffee rather than wine.
Exactly. So, yeah, what have you been getting up to since last time we spoke?
What have I been getting up to? Not loads. The bee sting's doing okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Not much, yeah, just been working and trying to enjoy the sun. Like you said, the sun's kind of come out the last few days, so been trying to enjoy that as well. And been seeing my little nephew a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's getting big. I think he's getting big quickly.
I know. He's gone from a baby, so he's 9 months old. He's gone from looking like a baby to a 3-year-old, like overnight. Yeah, he's the best.
Oh, the best ages are like 2 and 3 because that's when they're still like cuddly but still baby-like. But they walk and they actually like try to
play.
Yeah, it's the best.
Yeah,
age.
what have you been up to?
Well, other than like the fact that we bought a car and that we've just been like,
and what's your car called, Mim?
Well, its official name is Luna Laguna, but I wanted to call it Tila Tequila, throwback to the early 2000s.
Oh my gosh!
But Mr. Big says it's not teal, so it can't be called Tila, which makes sense. But other than that, it's just like driving around doing like pointless journeys in a car, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah,
lovely stuff. Well, welcome back, guys, to episode 6 of Style Over Substance.
Yay!
If you haven't followed us on Instagram by now, shame on you. It's Style Over Substance Pod. Give us some likes. Tell us some stuff. Yeah.
Also, when we discuss certain things, visual things on the podcast, Scarlett always pops over some like good reference images on the Instagram. So it's a good little accompany piece. A little op-ed to the podcast.
Exactly. So what's your fashion story this week, Mim?
My fashion story, it's little but also maybe a sign of the times. I don't know. There was so much panic about how, the high street is dead and all these companies are going under, and then found out Warehouse and Oasis were going into administration, and now they've been bought, which I'm glad about because Warehouse is a place I like to shop in. Really,
and also I just think it's nice to hear some good news. Like it's good to hear something good for the high street.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think they were bought by boohoo.com. Crickets. But yeah, I mean, at least people still have their jobs, at least we still have Warehouse on the high street. It's good news. What's yours?
Well, mine is I really struggle to dress for work in summer weathers. So like most of the time, if you guys aren't aware, we're in the UK. Summer tends to, it's not that hot like day to day.
Yeah.
Or consistently. But every now and then we do get a spike. And like, so today's meant to be 33 degrees where I am. Like how on earth, like luckily I work from home at the moment because of pandemic style. But if I was going into an office, I just don't know what I could wear because when you have to dress formally or you have to be like smart.
Yeah, you don't want to dress like you're on holiday.
No, but like you kind of don't want to wear anything, or you want to wear like the loosest, lightest thing.
Yeah,
like certain fabrics. You kind of want a nice like linen suit or like I don't know, it's I really want to get a summer suit, but
See, I mean, you should have gone to Mango. You should have bought that suit that I bought.
well, I ordered this, like, I thought it was going to look great. Like a little yellow gingham, like funky little like statement piece from Marks and Spencer's. It was in the sale. I look shocking. So
Really?
that is not a thing.
Why? Why is it so bad?
I look really dowdy. Like, it doesn't look funky on me. I look really lame.
Oh, well,
I find
keep
that really
going.
sad, you know, when like you see somebody, you're like, that looks really cool, I'm gonna buy that, and you're like,
Yeah,
wow,
I know.
wow.
There's so much stuff out there. You'll get there, and then once, like, the thing is, it's like once you know what suits you for a particular occasion, you just buy that in multiple colors, and you just stick to it.
So that is my. I feel like that's my new challenge, is to find myself, and I don't want it to be boring. Like, I want it to kind of be like a fun color, or like, you know, I want it to be playful, because I'm not someone who's gonna like rock up in like a, I don't know. I don't want it to. I want people to know it's a fun like statement, rather than like I just walk around in a suit all the time.
Yeah.
So if anybody has any recommendations where I won't look like a dork, then please send them my way.
You won't look like a dork. Making yourself sound frumpy.
Anyway. I did look frumpy. I just wasn't. I think it was the cut. I don't know. We'll see.
No. Well, on episode 6, we thought it'd be really good to talk about like the resale market and vintage finds and recycling fashion, and how that all kind of plays its role in the idea of sustainability. We thought it'd be really topical, because at the moment, I don't know about you, Scarlett, but on YouTube, I follow just a couple of fashion people, and the idea of people kind of either reusing things they bought years ago that they've forgotten about and pulling it out from the back. It's actually quite funny, because I'm going to my mum's today. I'm going to go through all her stuff and like do the eBay thing. So it's like, we're doing it, trying to like dig out old stuff. But at the same time, people who are going on like websites like Farfetch, where they have that pre-loved section, or, you know, the
Best
eBay
Air Collective.
Exactly, all of those. Some styles have actually gone up in value. So other people are buying into stuff that they weren't last year, for example. And I think that's really all brought on by this coronavirus lockdown. Well, yeah.
I don't know. I think it was a movement starting a little bit before. I noticed it in some of like the beauty bloggers, influencers, whatever we're meant to call them. Sort of, it was starting about, I would say, like Fashion Week at the start of this year, maybe. The question of, like, you know how they get gifted something to wear to the show, like they'll be given a bag, they'll be given like whatever, and kind of this thing of, actually, I don't want you to gift me. Or even like in the beauty industry, I've noticed it, where like they say, don't actually gift me things, or could you let me know what it is?
Yeah,
that I don't waste like X amount of products. Basically, like they're more selective with what they want to be sent in, like, and not in like a snobby like way. But also I have seen people more wanting to do the whole reshopping my wardrobe, like what can I find, how can I restyle it to be how I dress now, and all of, I see a lot more of that. And also people wanting to get a pre-loved bag, or like whatever the thing they want to invest in, rather than necessarily a brand new.
Yeah, I think what you've talked about is kind of, to me, is like multiple topics. I think I agree with you, like the idea of like beauty bloggers and fashion bloggers, when they were, before Corona, when they were sent things, a lot of them, particularly the biggest ones, used to get sent like tons of stuff each week. They either were like, this is too much packaging, too much postage, can you let me know so I can decide if I can receive stuff? So in that sense, that was about sustainability and like not kind of having less stuff and less product around. But I think that was more of a kind of wastage thing.
Yeah.
And then what we've seen in recent years is the revival of 90s styles, like Versace going back to, you know, their kind of glory days and reliving those kind of looks. So we have seen a lot of that. But I think now, and also like last point you kind of touched on, a lot of YouTubers, I think for people of our kind of generation, we're talking about being minimalist. And it was about living with less.
Like having a capsule wardrobe.
Yeah.
And making like it all work together. And yeah,
and I think that maybe was born out of not having a lot of money, being aware that they don't want to bring product into their lives. The only difference that I would say I think is happening now is people who are really into fashion and would like to buy new things all the time we're still buying new stuff, but in an old style, in an old design. And I think maybe now more of the mainstream will be that people are buying actual pre-loved original vintage. I don't know. Instead of like Gucci capitalizing off this like 70s beatnik aesthetic.
Yeah, they just get the old pattern out of the cupboard. Probably
maybe
the same fabric, or even like, you know,
maybe now people are just going to be like, I'm not going to go on Gucci's website, I'm going to go on some other website and buy something.
Like you said,
I don't know, what are your thoughts?
It's a tricky one, because also I know there's a big wastage problem at the moment in the fashion industry. I read an article last week that basically was commenting on, obviously, like this week it's been documented, it was like luxury fashion's worst quarter ever, and going into
I think I've seen that,
like collections weren't bought into as much as they obviously preempted. So there's a lot of wastage, and they're facing a problem of how to get rid of it. And there's a real issue in the luxury market of the whole you can't cut prices too much, or not everything can kind of go on sale to keep the integrity of your brand. So it's going to be, I wonder if we'll see almost like in a year's time or in 5 years' time, all these products creep onto the likes of like Farfetch or like eBay.
I hope
like
so.
A pseudo like seller. But I definitely think that people will be doing that more, because I think the more mainstream we hear about boohoo.com having like the slave labor, like the more I think people realize that the chances of that happening, if you spend money on something more expensive or more investment, and to be honest, the most affordable way for most people, or the average person, I would say, is to go on the likes of like a pre-loved item. Like the reality is, if you or I were looking to go buy something from Gucci tomorrow, we would be checking the likes of eBay, like, and pre-loved sites before buying something fresh, brand new off of their website. Maybe from a financial standpoint as well, because you want to get a good deal. But I kind of like the idea that like something's had a like as long as it's like in good condition. You don't want to be like filthy, but if it's in good condition, I think there's actually something really great about that. And it's really easy to do when it comes to maybe like accessories, jewelry, kind of shoes, because you can get them resold and stuff like that. Obviously clothes can get threadbare and stuff, but I think there's a real movement towards that, because I've also even seen, we talk a lot about the Instagram promotions, and you also can tell the trend, I think, of like what influencers are pushing, you know, like what they're collaborating with. And at the moment there's quite a lot of people collaborating with the likes of Vestaire Collective or other such websites, where they're selling stuff from their wardrobe and then they're going to buy something else. There's a lot of that going on.
Yeah,
real movement towards it. And I think they're encouraging people to do it.
Yeah, no, I agree as well. And I think, because it's one thing for consumers and customers to be like, you know, I'm deciding that I want to invest more in like pre-loved stuff. It's cheaper, you know, the quality is obviously like upheld over the years and blah blah blah. Do you think that brands themselves will see the potential in that and almost encourage the resale market? Because really, when you take brands such as Hermes, okay, Hermes doesn't say go and resell our bags, but everyone who owns an Hermes bag knows that if they fell on hard times, they are selling that bag to get their money back. And it's almost promoted that idea of I could sell this again and get my money back is part of that Hermes bag toting person. And I think maybe some brands will be like, oh, okay, if we see that our stuff actually resells and holds its value, then that in itself makes our brand more valuable.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the only two brands I can think of that have achieved that thus far is Hermes and Chanel. Like, it's a well-known fact that, you know, it's like, it's the opposite of when you buy a brand new car and it goes down in value the first second you drive it. These bags, as long as obviously they're looked after correctly, go up in value every day, every year. Like, they're investment pieces. And like you said, fall on hard times, you got to sell that baby and cash in. But yeah, I wonder, and I don't think a brand can choose to do that. It's, you know, it's kind of like the thing of you want to design the next it bag or something. It's not a choice, but I do think we're getting to a place where that definitely could be an option that a lot of brands, I think they want to seek to find that. Like, I think Dior might be getting to a place where that could be a thing. Dior's had a real revival with the public, I say, like recently, you know, with all their tapestry bags and stuff like that. I think that we'll see that they're worth a lot in like 10 years time, all these tapestry bags. Like, they're kind of like, whatever they call it, is it a beach bag or they're like their shopping tote.
Yeah. They do some aggressive, that reminds me that they do some really aggressive Instagram marketing. It's like recently they came out with a bag called the Bobby bag, I think it was, and it was like every influencer, like top end that I followed, was like toting this bag around. I mean, it's a lovely bag, it's nice, but it's like they almost like have a crew and they just all at the same time are like post this bag.
They must have a marketing budget of God knows what, because like you said, the amount of bags that get gifted, like, and I'm telling you now, bags have really good margins. Like, don't get me wrong, like, it obviously doesn't cost you the amount that they sell it, but still these are expensive bags you're just giving away. Like, I never understand that.
They still have to count gifted items in their budget because that is a lost sale.
Of course. That's a minus.
It has to have a return on investment for the value of the item that you give someone. So it's not like it's just, it's like, as you said, the value of the RRP value of a bag is important. And the fact that they like gift a lot of these, or maybe, because I think that some brands probably send stuff to people and then be like, okay, we're going to need it back. I think so.
You reckon? I wouldn't mind, especially if they're maybe dressing them for a show or like the promotion.
Because they do it for editorial. Magazines send things back.
Yeah. I wonder. If I was an influencer, I wouldn't be down with that, unless obviously it's a prearranged thing, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think, first of all, it's a whole nother story talking about gifting in influencer world. But I think we're moving towards this pre-loved thing. And also, I would say, I know a lot of people who have always enjoyed shopping in a charity shop or something like that, and and have the patience and the willpower to sift through the likes of TK Maxx or a charity shop. I was going to say,
like,
gems.
TK Maxx is like, it's like the, what do you call it? The entry level drug.
Yeah.
Like, if you can hack a TK Maxx.
You know what TK Maxx always makes me think of? Our school friend Alyssa.
Oh my God, I was just about to say that. I was just about to say that.
I have never known someone
But I was
love
like,
and find such good things as Alyssa.
But that, you know what that reminds me of? Hi, Scarlett's mum. You know what that reminds me of? It like brings up another point that I don't know if the pre-loved market is for everyone. It's not easy shopping because, as with TK Maxx or with these like online like e-retailers that do pre-loved, you have to know what you're looking for, and you have to kind of do a bit of research to understand the value of it. Like, you don't want to pay too much for something. Sure. And you want to get a deal on it, but you also need to, like, you kind of have to understand, like, is there a lot of these around? Can I get it for cheaper? You have to know the name of the model, the silhouette, like looking for the size that you're after. You kind of have to do some research when you're looking for, especially like luxury goods. I mean, if you're looking for like a size 8 dress, then you just type in size 8 dress, whatever, and you browse. But doing the whole eBay TK Maxx thing, I think you almost have to have a strong sense of like what your style is.
Yeah.
And what you're looking for. I don't know if that's for everyone. I don't know how mass the trend of vintage and resale will get, because there's just some people who don't care.
And also, like we've discussed before, most things are going towards, and I mean, I pretty much exclusively shop online, which basically means that I don't go looking for that in stores for stuff like that, because I don't really enjoy the experience of shopping, which kind of rules that out. And so you do then have to use a controlled website. I mean, ASOS has its marketplace, I guess, as well.
You have Depop and things.
Yeah. And like, I'm much more of an eBay or a Depop sort of, like, that's what because I can do that all on my phone or on a computer. So I think that, there needs to probably be even more resources of doing this, especially for luxury fashion. And like you said, it's very hard to know if you're getting a good deal, because actually, like, take Hermes, for instance, we were talking earlier, but some Hermes things aren't actually worth that much. Just like, I mean, Hermes, yes, is a classy and well-established brand, but there'll be a certain bag or a scarf or a certain model that actually they made too many and it's not worth that much, and actually it's not even a desired style. So you've really got to know, like you said, the model, the year it was made, in some cases, to really know if you're getting a good deal, because it's very hard to know sometimes when you see a discount, like, oh, RRP this is the discount, or in other cases there's inflation on the fact that it used to be whatever. It's really hard to sometimes know, like, you kind of almost need an expert's help or something in some cases.
I follow one of my favorite Instagrammers. I can't pronounce her name because I think it's Dutch, but she has, like, her style is really colorful. It's just so much fun, like colorful designer pieces, and she eBays all her Chanel bags, which she has a lot. She has like the tie-dye ones, the orange one, the hot pinks. Like, she has the ones that, like, you wish you could find and afford to buy, sort of thing. And she buys all of her secondhand. And I mean, she does get gifted stuff and whatnot, but I think probably like influencers like her show people, normal regular people who maybe don't buy into that sometimes it's possible to find better stuff in pre-loved, because it's stuff you just don't see around anymore, or there's like, that particular color and style doesn't exist, and people like her make it look really fresh. And
definitely. And also, like, certain styles don't come around again for a little while, or colorways, or there's something really exciting that they've done, and like, maybe it's just too commercial what's in the shops. Like, most of the time in the shops you're just going to see like the plain colorways, and you're not going to maybe see like the fun funky ones. But also, yeah, it just allows you to have way more options, because I don't think seasonal is really a problem anymore, which is why I think that resale and all of that stuff is just gonna like be more than ever. Because I've thought this for ages, because if you look around like I'm going to say London because I can't speak for the whole of the UK. If you look around a London high street, there is not one style that people dress. When we were kids, there was a style everyone sort of dressed. And don't get me wrong, you see groups of teenagers where they've all decided to wear denim hot pants and a white t-shirt, or whatever.
Biker shorts,
like
chunky trainers.
You've seen, they've all got the memo. But I would say now, if our group of friends got together, our school friends, we would all be dressed completely different. Nobody looks uncool because it's not in fashion. Like, that's not a thing. Like, I don't believe in seasons in the grander like version of things are outdated. Obviously, it gives you a theme, or some things come around like puffy sleeves or whatever. But for the most part, I think seasons are irrelevant.
Yeah, that is a really good point. Like, whereas 15 years ago, 20 years ago and beyond, clearly defined seasons and releases of new product framed what we were wearing any given year.
And also, it used to be a statement, like in the wealthy worlds of like the Real Housewives, it'd be like, babe, that's last season's
exactly. I mean, the Real Housewives are a completely different planet, but
but you know what I mean? Like, I don't think that's even a problem anymore.
I think there are still people who still harbor those old-fashioned notions of things are outdated and out of style, and this is not hot and this is not what people wear anymore. But because kind of more and more brands were dropping more collections, resort, cruise, spring, summer, autumn, winter, collaboration drops with random artists and stuff like that, it was almost like there was something new all the time. And then you put in fast fashion, where it's like a new like drop with a celebrity is coming out all the time, like Cardi B Fashion Over or whatever, that you can't keep up with anything. So you just have to do what you like. And I think if that hadn't have happened, then maybe the resale market wouldn't have like its time to thrive now, because it's like, buy what you want, as long as you love it, that's the most important thing.
Absolutely. And like there will always be somebody now on the other side who is coveting that item, like regardless of when it was bought. Like there's a style for everybody. And also, like you said, I think bloggers are doing a great thing of showing styling options for older staff, or finding that vintage Fendi bag or that vintage Louis Vuitton, those kind of like 90s like shoulder bags or whatever. Like most of them are like fabric at the moment or whatever it is, and they're styling it and they're saying, oh, I actually like, obviously this is an old style, or this was like the 90s version of this bag, or it's whatever. I think that definitely helps people remember that you don't have to buy a bag brand new. And also, it's not, some people are really funny about buying clothes like on eBay, or like, you know, some people are really funny about the idea of somebody using something before them.
Someone might have died in it or something. That's like the prevalent no, but like that's like the typical charity shop notion. It's like you better clean that like really well, because you don't know who's
dead lady
died in that house that had that teapot. Some like really like tenuous link between someone who died and the item you bought.
But I think long gone are those days. And also, if people think like that, they're always going to think like that.
I think also something we haven't really mentioned yet is, because of this pandemic, and you know, sadly people are losing their jobs, or they're earning less, or I don't know, there's less money for really people to go out and spend. People are starting to sell their stuff. to find extra cash. So that in itself might lend itself to like this this flourishing, that's the word, market, because maybe not for like the super rich aren't about to like sell their stuff. Well, they might actually. Remember years ago when Kim Kardashian was like first on like coming up, and she used to do those eBay sales.
Yeah.
And then she used to donate like 10% to charity and stuff. And I remember that was the first time I knew of a celebrity who
selling
was
stuff,
selling their stuff. And it wasn't like through, like a charity auction or something. It was just like someone like, here's the link to my to my eBay.
Yeah, no, definitely.
So I say all that to say that people who are maybe like middle class or lower middle class or whatever these terms, who maybe have a couple of designer bits, might use this opportunity to be like, let me see if I can make some money off stuff that I don't particularly need right now.
Definitely. I know that when I was saving up to go traveling, I looked in like my wardrobe to kind of sell stuff, get like eBay happy with different things, either sell some bags or even just like regular high street clothes. And I think right now, like you said, like people are struggling with furlough, facing redundancy, have lost their jobs, whatever it might be, or just haven't been able to work, and furlough is an option, whatever it might be. And like, and even if you aren't struggling with any of that stuff, like there's a panic going on, isn't there, about the economy?
Yeah, that's
if
true.
you want to realize any money, like I wouldn't mind betting that like the amount that's been uploaded to eBay, Depop, whatever all those things are, I bet that's increased so much. We've been so busy over the last few months because people have had downtime. They're just like, crap, like how am I gonna like, also we've been like kind of in some sort of a lockdown, we're semi-lockdown, but like it's been a while now, like you're gonna be like trying to find money if there's a way to do it, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. So I was on the McKinsey website, they do like statistics on like retail and whatever, and they said they had a study, and they said that 67% of people consider the use of sustainable materials to be an important purchasing factor. So what do you think? Is that something that you consider when you buy things, whether it's pre-loved or especially new? Is what it's made from, or not even like I'm looking at something and I'm checking the label to see what its composition is, but if a store says, oh, this is made from 100% organic cotton, or this is made using like the cleanest tanning methods on our leather, does that draw you to buy that particular item even more?
I don't know. I think it would definitely be a bonus. It would be a benefit. I don't know if it would push me to buy something. It's difficult. But then like even now, I think Topshop, I've seen it on ASOS, I think a few other, Zara maybe, they've got kind of a considered or a recycled or whatever it might be thing. And if they had something that I liked in that, or like say there was like even just something as simple as a vest top, I would get the vest top with the organic, or I would try and do that. But yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult because I am also controversially a believer of like, I like quality as well. And sometimes they negate each other. So that's a tricky one. But
yeah, I get what you mean.
I do think that we're moving in a direction where it's very a hot topic. Like most places that I've worked at, there's sort of been the sustainable conversation of trying to maybe find a leather that's not made of cow. Like there's like you can make leather out of most things. Like there's pineapple leather, there's all sorts. Like there's amazing inventions, and actually like they are just as not like you have to convince people or something like that. It's kind of like I was to something yesterday where like you know, when vegan food almost like tries to emulate meat, it's like,
Yeah,
you have to always do
you don't
that.
have to do that. Yeah, I know.
As long as it feels nice, and as long as it kind of is
Does the
as
job.
durable and like seems luxury, if that's what you're striving to be or whatever. But the difficult thing is, to be correctly sustainable is a very difficult process, I think. And so that's really like, it's quite hard to know as well if that's the right thing, especially like you mentioned leather tanning or something. Like,
yeah,
the more eco way sometimes uses actually more water. Bless you. But like
it was coming, but it didn't come out. Okay.
But yeah, like the eco way of tanning actually uses more water. It's like, it's so hard to know what the correct thing to do is. And we're now in like this society that tells you basically that all of your decisions are wrong. Or can find a flaw with it. I think it's something that I think definitely in schools almost there should be more education on, and it should be easier to find information on these things, because you'd want to know, like, you don't want to be falsely marketed to. I think that's the biggest problem. It's even like we were saying with knowing the worth of a resold item. It's the same with something more sustainable. They can put a sustainable sticker on it, but you need to, it's sometimes hard to know if that's actually better than the original product.
I think that is you made a really good point, because I have a contradiction in my life, and I know it's a contradiction, but I haven't figured out the best way to address it yet. And I think maybe this resale market is kind of the answer, because we eat vegan, and although I have like slight exceptions to my rule, you know, for the most part I eat vegan, and Mr. Big all the time 100% vegan, but I draw the line at wearing like fake leather, because to me, most of the vegan leather that you see on the high street, not talking about like the pineapple, the really like
the cheap stuff.
I'm talking about the cheap stuff, not the stuff that's being like developed now, that's
not like
really
a Stella McCartney
creative. The cheap fake leather is plastic, and to me, using a natural fabric, yes, tanning leather does use a lot of kind of corrosive chemicals, and that's a whole nother issue in itself. I don't doubt that, but for me, using leather as a natural fabric that is durable, that ages well, that lasts longer than these plasticky PU leathers, is an environmental way up that I make. So I don't see myself giving up leather, although I do not, well, I have to have like a really good alternative. Although I don't eat meat, for all the reasons out there, I can't bring myself to convert to something which I think is just more damaging to the planet. Does that make sense? And that's like that's the thing that I know I'm a contradiction about. Not really a contradiction, but seemingly a contradiction.
No,
but I think this resale market is that way around it.
There's something to that, because actually these false leathers use a ton of water. They still color them, so they still theoretically tan them. They still are using chemicals to do that. Like there's not a natural way to make, or unless it's going to look like faded vomit,
or it's like or it's just very expensive. Like the
if someone does it properly, like, and like you said, more natural dyes and all of that, it's expensive. It's very, very difficult to make a convincing vegan product, I would say, for sure. I think that all kind of circles back to because we started talking about this whole vintage finds and like resale market, but the larger topic of sustainability, like the fact is we can't live in, like, to get deep, we can't live in a capitalist society and be sustainable at the same time. We just can't. We have to just stop buying stuff. We have to just really, like, the stuff that we have to use it to death and then replace it. I mean, it has to be enough.
Buying into Yeah, exactly. And it's never enough when you talk about fashion, which is there to convince you that this new thing is better than what you currently have.
Yep.
And don't get me wrong, like, we both love to shop, but it's just not an argument that fashion is ever going to make. I mean,
No.
Stella McCartney herself, with all her efforts of being like vegetarian friendly and avoiding, kind of just being as ecological as possible, is still trying to flog stuff on us. You know, she's still trying to sell stuff to us, stuff that we probably have 10
Yeah,
of
she's
in
still
our wardrobe right
contributing
now.
to consumerism.
Yeah. But
But
so
yeah, I
we can never really be.
I wonder how
Mm.
brands feel about it, because touching on that last point that we just said, like, consumerism and sales is how these brands stay alive. So they still want to flog us stuff, yet the real
Yeah.
I wonder how much they also are happy about the resale market, because also I do think the resale market could introduce you to a brand that you maybe can't afford their
Yeah,
stuff,
definitely.
or you don't like what they're doing right now, but you did like the Prada bag from 2-3 years ago, and you like save up to get that. Like, I think there's something cool about it, but I wonder if there's like how the brands feel about it. I've never heard it be discussed personally at anywhere I've worked. Have you?
About resale?
Yeah.
Oh God, no, not explicitly. The thing that we got closest to was, I worked for a leather goods company which had been around for like 80 years, and in their heyday were known for being really good quality. They're much bigger in America, but they almost had this cultural relevance, in that a lot of people, maybe their first premium or designer bag that they were gifted to for graduation by their parents or something like that, was from this brand. So it had a lot of cultural relevance in America. And so this idea of, my mum's had this bag for like 30 years and it's as good as new, and she just gets it polished and it's still just as good as ever. They did definitely lean into that train of thought, but it wasn't about reselling a bag. It was about keeping it into whatever we're going to release next month. Do you know what I mean? It's like, still buy the drops because we would drop new colorways or styles or whatever every month. It might be the same bag with patches on, different patches or different trims, or but there was something new every month. Yeah. But that's the thing. It's like, the amount of stock that these brands are sitting on, because I used to work in the merchandising, so had a very clear idea of how much stock was sitting in our warehouse, and how much we had to send to stores and how much was selling. People would just be mind blown at how many units these brands are sitting on. And bear in mind, this was just one brand for Europe.
Yeah.
You know, we're not even talking about like other markets in the world. So I know that I think like last year or something, H&M, they haven't been doing the best by comparison to other brands. But I think they've been sitting on like a ton of merchandise and they just can't flog it, because, like, remember when we were teenagers, H&M was the place that you would go to buy like everything, like cheap summer dresses and shorts and t-shirts and whatever, and they were really popular. But now I think,
for context for people listening, we were probably H&M shoppers because there wasn't like a Primark that got introduced when we were younger, but also like H&M has obviously the quality over Primark, but still had similar prices, to be fair.
Yeah. I think as we've gotten older, H&M quality is like, I could pay like...
I can see my bra through every single thing.
I know. Oh God, I know. Like my see-through clothes.
Yeah.
Really, really bad. So, and also like, you've just got other options. You can just buy into other brands and whatever, it's better quality, whatever. So yeah, all that to say that they're sitting on a ton of stock that they really can't flog. And that is, I mean, who's going to buy resold H&M stuff? Like, even if they put it out there and had their like resale market or whatever, like no one's going to buy that stuff.
No, it's a problem. I almost think that there should be limited numbers of things going forward, but it's not that easy. It's, yeah, who knows?
No one knows. That's the moral of our whole
definitely not us.
Yeah. Anything else you want to add?
No, I think we've covered some cool points there.
Yeah. We'll probably like revisit the topic in a different, like with a different focus at some point. There's so much to this. Maybe we could talk about production of things, because you kind of in design know a bit more about that as well. But yeah, that's it for episode 6. Cool. Thanks for joining us, guys.
Thanks for listening. It was a good one, Mim.
It was a good one.
If we do say it so ourselves.
5-star reviews only, guys.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, as Scarlett's mentioned, email us with your stories, because we do a story time every other week. Your opinions, your topic suggestions at styleoversubstancepod@gmail.com. Instagram is styleoversubstancepod. Yeah, so that's it. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, guys.
I've been Mim.
I've been Scarlett. See you.
Bye.